You've heard it a million times, save for retirement. But what if I told you most people who did save are still barely getting by? In 2025, the average retiree is living on about $50,000 a year. That's not freedom, that's survival. But maybe you landed here on the MCubed channel for a reason. Let's talk about how 5% thinking can flip your retirement story. Picture this, you're 67 years old. You worked your whole life, paid your dues, followed the rules. And now, you're living on $4,099 a month, watching every dollar, praying your car doesn't break down because one emergency could wipe you out. That's not a dystopian nightmare. That's the median reality for Americans over 65 right now. This is MCubed Money Mindset Makeover. If you're tired of being broke in a world built for the rich, hit that subscribe and let's flip the script together. Today, we're exposing the truth about retirement income in America, and trust me, it's about to get real. Because this isn't just about old people's problems. This is your future staring back at you, and we're going to make sure you dodge every single bullet. Let's dive in. Let's rip the Band-Aid off. The median monthly income for Americans 65 and older is $4,199. That's roughly $50,000 a year. Now, before you think, okay, that's not terrible, hold up. Because the average spending for that same age group, 57,000 a year. Do the math. They're spending more than they're making, by about $8,000 a year.
And here's the kicker. These are people who supposedly made it. They survived the rat race.
They saved. They invested. They did what financial advisors told them to do. And they're still coming up short. But wait, it gets darker. Statistics show 12% of men and 15% of women over 65 depend on Social Security for 90% or more of their income. Let that sink in. Nearly 1 in 7 women are almost entirely reliant on a system that was never designed to be your primary income source. It was supposed to be a supplement, like the side of fries with your burger. But for millions of retirees, it is the burger. And what does that burger cost? The average Social Security check at the start of 2024 was $1,977 a month. For married couples, roughly double that, about $3,800 monthly or $46,000 a year. Now imagine trying to cover rent, groceries, medications, utilities, and God forbid any kind of entertainment or joy in life on $46K a year as a couple. In 2026 dollars, with inflation eating away at your buying power every single month. Here's the brutal truth. Social Security was designed in 1935 when people lived to like 63. Now we're living into our 80s and 90s. The system is stretched thinner than your phone screen protector after 2 years of drops. Most of us watching this, we're not even retiring at 65 anymore. According to a 2024 Fidelity survey, 2/3 of Americans are planning a phased retirement, which is corporate speak for, I'm too broke to fully retire, so I'll keep working part-time until my body gives out. Between 2016 and 2022, only 70% of people aged 65 to 69 were actually retired. That number jumps to 83% for the 70 to 74 crowd and 88% for those 75 and up. Translation? Nearly 1/3 of people in their late 60s are still working. Not because they love their jobs, because they have to. And for us millennials and Gen Zers, the ones drowning in student debt, paying rent that eats half our paycheck, and watching the cost of everything skyrocket while wages stay frozen? Yeah, we're not retiring at 65. We might not retire at all. Let's zoom in on why this matters to you right now. Scrolling on your phone, possibly ignoring that budget app notification. You're not saving for retirement. I know you're not. Maybe 3% into your 401k if your job even offers one. Maybe nothing at all because rent is due, your car payment is late, and you're still paying off that degree that promised you a 6-figure salary but delivered a $45,000 job with growth potential. You're hustling. Side gig here, freelance project there. You're tired. Burnt out. And every financial guru online is screaming at you to just save more and cut out the lattes, like that's going to bridge the $500,000 gap between where you are and where you need to be. Here's what nobody wants to say out loud. You're not lazy. You're not irresponsible. You're exhausted. And the system profits off your burnout. The game is rigged.
Wages haven't kept pace with inflation since the 70s.
Housing costs have tripled while your paycheck stayed flat. Student loans are a trillion-dollar industry built on selling you a dream and delivering a debt sentence. And retirement? That's the final boss you haven't even started training for. Here's something that should terrify you. 60% of people over 65 are carrying debt. Credit cards, mortgages, car loans, medical bills. They made it to retirement, and they're still paying off yesterday's emergencies. Some of that debt isn't even bad debt. Some retirees borrowed against their homes when rates were 3%, which financially makes sense. But here's the problem. Debt in retirement is like running a marathon with ankle weights. You're already on a fixed income. Every dollar going to debt is a dollar you can't spend on living. And inflation? Forget about it. Prices for groceries, healthcare, housing, all skyrocketing. But that Social Security check? It barely budges. The money you're receiving stays the same, but its value shrinks every single month. So you're forced to dip into savings faster than you planned. Cut back on essentials. Maybe skip medications. Maybe eat cheaper food that wrecks your health, which costs more later. It's a vicious cycle. And the worst part? That's the future you're headed toward if you don't change the game right now. Now hold on, because this part matters. You might be thinking, okay, but what about net worth? Don't retirees have assets? Sure. The median net worth for households where the head is between 65 to 74 years old is about $410,000. For those 75 and up, it's around $335,000. Sounds pretty good, right? 400 grand, and that's wealth. Except that number includes their home. Subtract the house, the place they're literally living in and can't easily liquidate without becoming homeless. And suddenly that net worth looks a lot thinner. For most retirees, their home is the biggest asset they own. It's not liquid. It's not accessible. It's just there. So the actual cash, investments, and savings they can use for day-to-day life? Way less than $410K. This is the wealth illusion. Looking rich on paper while being broke in practice. And here's the thing that should scare you. These are boomers. People who bought homes for $50K that are now worth $500K. People who had pensions. People who graduated college without 6 figures of debt. What do you think our generation's net worth is going to look like? Here's where broke ends and ownership begins. You cannot rely on the system. Social Security might not exist by the time we retire, or it'll be so gutted it's worthless. Pensions? Extinct. That 401k your company offers? It's not enough. The average person needs to save 15 to 20% of their income for retirement just to maintain their standard of living. But you're lucky if you're saving 5%, so what do? We stop playing by their rules. Retirement isn't about hitting 65 and hoping you have enough money. Retirement is about building systems that work while you sleep. It's about creating multiple income streams, so you're not dependent on one job, one paycheck, one broken system. This is the MCubed way. Save, invest, earn, budget. Save. Not just for emergencies, but aggressively. Automate it. Make it invisible. Pay yourself first before rent, before anything else. Invest. In index funds, real estate, skills that pay. Compound interest is real, but only if you start now. Every year you wait costs you tens of thousands in lost growth. Earn. Stop trading time for money. Build side hustles that scale. Learn skills that increase your income potential. Negotiate your salary like your retirement depends on it, because it does. Budget. Not to restrict yourself, but to control the game. Know where every dollar goes. Cut the leaks. Redirect money from stuff that doesn't matter to things that compound wealth. The retirees struggling right now? They didn't plan. They trusted the system. They believed the lie that working hard was enough. But you? You're watching this. You're aware. You have time. And that makes you dangerous. See, there is hope in this video. It's not all doom and gloom. The average retirement income is $50K a year. The average spending is $58K. Most retirees are in debt. Social Security barely covers the basics. And if you follow the same path as everyone else, you'll end up in the same place. Stressed, broke, and trapped. But here's the truth they don't want you to know. You don't have to accept that future. You can start building wealth today, even if you're broke, even if you're in debt. even if you think it's impossible. The difference between financial freedom and financial desperation isn't luck. It's mindset. It's systems. It's making different choices now so you don't regret them later. This is your wake-up call. Retirement isn't some far-off fantasy. It's a math problem you need to solve today. And the only person who's going to solve it, you. Have you or someone you know struggled with retirement savings or watched a family member barely get by in their golden years? Drop your story in the comments. Your experience might help someone else start planning smarter. Up next, we're breaking down why your job isn't as safe as you think in one of my favorite videos researched so far for the MCubed channel called The Illusion of Job Security. Trust me, you don't want to miss this one. See you there, MCubed family.